November is Native American Heritage Month, so joining us now to celebrate Indigenous cuisine is local chef Crystal Wahpepah from her restaurant that opened during the pandemic, Wahpepah's Kitchen, located in Oakland's Fruitvale district. You know, we are humbled to have you on KRON 4. You've been the first Native American on the Food Network, so this is nothing for you. But what did you bring for us here today?
Oh, today I brought, it's harvesting time throughout Native country. Right now I brought a butternut squash, and I thought I'll talk about a little bit of the squash and the history, and then what we're going to add onto it for folks at home.
Very cool. Okay, so walk us through this salad.
Sure. Okay, so we have a butternut squash. What I did is I roasted it in the oven, like at 350 for about 45 minutes. And then from there, if you kind of cook it open, it will kind of cook faster. A lot of people really don't like cooking with squash, but it's really fairly the simplest, easiest thing, especially at home, of the nutrients. We have a lot of antioxidant. It's good in fiber. It has a lot of good health benefits. And with that, what I brought is actually pecans. Pecans is something that's within my tribe. I am Kickapoo and Sac and Fox. My tribe is from Oklahoma. And pecans, we're really known for pecans all throughout Oklahoma, all throughout Texas. And then from there, I brought cranberry. This is one of my favorites. I love cranberry, but these are just at home dried cranberries. And then from there, we're gonna add a little seed mix, which is amaranth, pumpkin seeds, a little sunflower seeds, just to build that really good energy, along with, of course, you have your low carbohydrates and the fiber.
You were right about the squash, because I get intimidated when I see it in this form at the store, and I'm like, what do I do? I don't even know how to cut this, but that's what it's supposed to look like after.
Yes, it's really simple.
Okay, so then we sprinkle everything on top?
Yeah, so what I do is normally I'll start off with maple. I kind of put a little maple. This is like, we're gonna call it a little squash salad. And then from there, I'm gonna add a little pecans. It's really pretty on the eyes, and also that it tastes good. And then from there, I have, of course, our cranberries. And then I'm gonna add the seed mix. This is something where throughout Native country, we have the sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and of course, we have the amaranth. This right here is a very pretty salad. It's really good to actually celebrate the salad throughout Thanksgiving or Native American Heritage Month, or however you want to see fit. If you want to kind of celebrate it at work or at home, this is something where it's very simple. You can get it's access and available all over out through the stores right now.
And so many different textures. That's what I'm really intrigued by, because you got the crunch of the different nuts in there, and then kind of the softness of that squash that you ended up baking in order to get it to be that way, and then the chewiness of the dry cranberry. So I'm really excited to taste that.
Yes, and it's really pretty. It's welcoming, and it says, you know, everything here from this land.
And Oakland welcomed your family. I think back in the 50s, you were saying, because Kickapoo people tend to be from the Oklahoma areas you mentioned, but then they migrated here to the Bay. You're born and raised in the Bay. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's born and raised here in the Bay Area. My grandparents didn't come until like 1955 during the Relocation Act. And at the same time, my grandfather was in the Navy. And so they seen that there was a lot of natives here. We call it natives in our family, Native Americans. And so they end up staying, and so they end up kind of retiring here and going back to Oklahoma.
And so how did you get in touch with your roots? I mean, when people come from different places and then immigrate to a different part of town, different part of the country, really, how were you able to get in touch with this cuisine and your people, and the maybe even parts of the language, how you would call this in your language? I mean, I know the Interfaith Tribal House in Oakland kind of serves as that space for Native people to get together and preserve that. How were you able to do that?
Well, my grandfather, he was a hunter and a farmer, and my grandmother actually was a stay-at-home cook, but also we always practice our traditional and our ceremonies, not just here in Oakland, but also, of course, in Oklahoma. And this is something that was passed down to me, and I always seen different from being raised here in the Bay Area. Like, wait a minute, where is our foods? And at the same time, of course, my family's been a huge, rich part of the Bay Area Native community. If you talk about more of the Intertribal Friendship House, for instance, the Intertribal Friendship House was actually, it was a safe haven for Native Americans during the Relocation Act in 1955. This is something where my family had came. We celebrated, we cook all the way up until this day, where it's rich and vibrant with all of our foods.
And food is really like a central part in most cultures, of course. And so
Yes.
it's amazing that you're also honoring your immediate ancestors. I mean, your grandparents had ties to food in particular. So how does it feel to represent your community as a whole?
Oh, wow. It's such a huge honor to have the honor to actually cook with these foods and actually serve the community. This is where the part where it couldn't get any richer or better than that. And then also, of course, having me being a part of a Native American food producer, working with Native American food producers to have all these foods accessible to our community.
I did not know that. And so some of these ingredients that you do work with at the restaurant, Wahpepah's Kitchen, they're actually grown in the Bay. And so you go and help with the harvest?
Yes, me and my team, we do native foodways within the restaurant. Like for instance, we're going to be going here in a week or so to go harvest the squash over at Cultural Conservancy, which is in Sebastopol. And this is something I feel that's very important within Wahpepah's Kitchen, where we do the native foodways. And this is where we represent so many different tribes, and where our staff can actually get in touch with the ingredients and know where these foods come from. So it's just not about Chef Wahpepah or Wahpepah's Kitchen. It's overall to make these foods accessible for the future generation.
Thank you so much to Crystal
Thank
Wahpepah of Wahpepah's Kitchen and joining us from the Fruitvale district in Oakland and sharing her culture with us for Native American Heritage Month. We'll be right back.